Hello, my name is Sade Williams-Clayton, and I'm a fifth-year PhD candidate in the lab of Dr. Rosa Sarah. So we're in the lab in the Cell Developmental and Integrative Biology Department within the University of Alabama in Birmingham, Alabama. So a couple of things about me. I have been an ORS member for around 3 years, and I was selected this year to sit on the ORS Spine Section Membership Committee. And so now I'm going to talk a little bit about my scientific mentors, my past scientific mentors. So my scientific background is very eclectic because my past scientific mentors come from very diverse scientific fields. So for my undergraduate research at the University of Georgia in Athens, Georgia, I first worked with Dr. Michael Pierce. He is a biochemist in the Complex Carbohydrate Research Center. And then I went on to work with Dr. Boris Streepin, who is now at Penn. And in his lab, I studied the parasite Toxoplasma gondii in the Center for Tropical and Emerging Global Diseases. And another mentor that I consider a mentor and a friend is Dr. Scott Dugan at UGA as well. He is a zebrafish developmental biologist. And he is actually the professor that inspired me to go to graduate school to become a developmental biologist, since he is a developmental biologist. So a brief overview of my research is, as you can guess from that previous statement, I am a developmental biologist, and I like to consider myself a developmental biologist that is intrigued by spinal column formation. So my PhD thesis work focuses on TGF-beta signaling and how that pathway regulates spinal column formation, and I intend to elucidate the pathways that TGF-beta regulates in the progenitor tissue of the spinal column to determine how TGF-beta is regulating spinal column formation. And I've actually published my first author paper on that not too long ago in 2020. And I have an upcoming paper that should be published in a couple months in 2021. So I got involved in orthopedic research in graduate school. So I fell in love with orthopedic research by working with my current mentor, Dr. Rosa Sarah, and especially because her lab utilized the chick as a developmental model, which is an amazing tool to study developmental biology, especially if you're interested in spinal column formation. So I had no prior experience working in orthopedics before entering graduate school, and it was truly my current lab that introduced me to the field and introduced me to my love of orthopedic research. And ORS in general has been very supportive. They've been supportive, especially the ORS Spine section, which I am a member. You should join as well. They've been supportive in my PhD training by offering travel grants, volunteer opportunities, and networking opportunities at conferences. And it's actually at one of these conferences. It was the PSRS, which is the Philly Spine Conference, that I found my postdoc. I found my postdoc mentor, Dr. Simon Tang, at that conference. And so ORS has been instrumental in my PhD training and so far my career trajectory. So my favorite thing about ORS is being in a scientific community where I can interact with the scientists that have inspired my own research and get to know them on a personal level. So all the scientists whose papers I quote and cite, getting to meet them face to face is really, really cool, and it's a very humbling experience. I believe so I'm going to switch gears now and talk about diversity and inclusion. So I believe diversity and inclusion is extremely important because fostering environments that are welcoming and supportive to underrepresented minorities, or URMs, such as myself, is a key component in recruiting and retaining more diverse scientists within the orthopedic field. And I can speak on that from a personal standpoint. And so talking about some of my career goals, my overall career goal then is to become a tenure track faculty that emphasizes teaching and mentoring students so that more URMs, those underrepresented minorities, feel confident and prepared to enter STEM or science-related fields. Some of the biggest challenges I've faced so far in my scientific career is finding my voice within the scientific community, and then having the courage to use that voice to advocate for myself and for others. So personal hobbies or interests that I like to share is that I love to read. I'm an avid reader. My genre of interest that I love are science fiction, mystery, things like that. My favorite authors are Stephen King and Edgar Allan Poe, as well as James Baldwin. And I also have two dogs. I'm a dog mom. They are both rescue dogs from the local Humane Society here in Birmingham, Alabama, and they honestly take up most of my time outside of science. So lastly, any advice that I would give to investigators starting out in the field? Honestly, I'm still very, very new in my scientific tenure, but I would advise that don't give up. I know that's very cliche, but I really do mean it. And that especially, I want to say that don't be afraid to advocate for yourself and to stand up for what you believe in. Um, Also, don't be afraid to take risks and apply for things you think that you are unqualified for. I always tell myself, because I have to remind myself and take my own advice as well, is that if the worst response that you can get is no, then what are you waiting for? Go ahead and take the risk and take a chance, and you might be surprised at the outcome. Okay, well, thank you, and thanks.